That was a third place performance? What the hell do you have to do to get first place?
Hello.
I am Aoyalaipe, and I like to hop into top tier matches in War Thunder and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so I got a Kafir C7 here, and let's go slaughter everyone in this lobby with it. And before I tell you anything else about this plane, I'm just gonna climb. The Kfir C7 is ridiculously stupid good at climbing. It's a very fast climber. And it can climb so fast that at the start of every match, you can get high enough, fast enough, that it becomes extremely annoying to shoot a Fox 1 radar missile at you. Because if you're high enough up, the guy shooting you will just have to hold his plane at such a high angle for such a long period of time that it's not worth shooting at you. And in the meantime, he'll be a perfect shot for your teammate's missile, and your teammate's missile won't have to fight gravity to kill him. So even if someone tries, they'll usually just blow up. This works 9 times out of 10, but this particular map here was big enough that someone was able to get a shallow enough angle to launch a missile at me and not get blown up themselves by one of my teammates. But that was fine because I could just dodge his missile. And the reason you want to get up so high so early is, well, among the normal reasons you want to be high, you have an energy advantage, but the main reason with the Kfir C7 is because this jet gets Python 3s. And Python 3s are ridiculously good at ambushing people if you fire from your target's 2, 3, 10, or 11 o'clock high position. You see, when people check their surroundings, they tend to check their upper left and upper right last. So if you send a fast missile like a Python 3 from that angle, and it's an infrared missile so it doesn't give a radar warning, it will usually surprise them. So this thing just dishes out surprise missile deaths. Oh, and I will freely admit that this F-18 here was, that was a blatant kill steal. Look, I killed what's in front of me, deal with it. Okay, now that the opening chaos has subsided a little bit, let me tell you what this plane is. The Kafir C7 is, technically it's a variant of the Mirage 5, and it's in the Israeli tech tree. Except it's not really a Mirage 5, it's been fitted out with a frickin' F4 Phantom engine, and it also gets Python 3s, which are a ridiculously good infrared missile that you can almost never find outside of the Israeli tech tree. So this plane looks like a Mirage 5, but it's definitely not copy-paste. It's its own unique plane, and you can't find anything else quite like it in the game. I actually reviewed this plane once before a long time ago. It was one of the first planes I reviewed after I started getting test drives from Gaijin, and just a quick fun fact, Gaijin started giving me test drives the day after the Gripen first got nerfed. That's not relevant to the story, I just felt like mentioning it. Anyways, in my original view of the Kafir C7, I basically said that this plane was ridiculously fun. It doesn't get radar missiles, it doesn't get a ton of countermeasures, but what it does get is completely ridiculous flight performance. It is really stupid fast for its battle rating, and it accelerates stupid fast, and it climbs stupid fast. The only downside was that it really guzzles gas, especially when you're on full afterburner, which you usually are because the afterburner is stupid good. That's how you get the flight performance you need to make sure no one else kills you. And the gas guzzling is really a problem because the fuel tanks on this thing are pretty small. So the only problem with this plane was that if you were going to try to go and slaughter an entire lobby by yourself single-handedly without dying, you were going to have to land for gas partway through your rampage. And if you just killed like 15 people in a row, then they are going to be absolutely hell-bent on revenge. If you kill a bunch of people without dying and you land for gas, people will be kamikaze diving through your airfield's AAA cover to blow you up on the runway. Like, you need to make sure the enemy team is thinned out enough by the time you land that none of them can run the gauntlet to your airfield before you can get off the ground again. But thankfully, the Kafir C7 does not have that problem anymore. Since I last covered it, Gaijin made an update to this plane, and they added a drop tank, and that drop tank makes a huge difference. That gives you the gas you need to last the whole match. And that can be kind of terrifying because a Kafir C7 snowballs teams really hard. Basically, anything that doesn't have flares dies, and in TTA and top tier arcade, you don't have to burn through that many planes before the enemy team is reduced to planes that don't have flares. And at that point, you're basically just the Antichrist. Like, if you don't have flares, the Python 3 will just click on you and kill you. Like, you can't dodge it. And even if you do have flares, as I mentioned, there are some pretty good ways for a Python 3 to ambush you, and that trick is going to work on players a couple times because people don't have a whole lot of experience fighting Python 3s, especially Kafir C7s. The Israeli tech tree is like the least played tech tree, which is insane because it's like the best tech tree for air. Like, it gets a bad reputation because it looks copy-paste at first glance, but a lot of people don't realize that the Israelis took a lot of like American or French jets and just like completely pimped them out with new weapons and sometimes new engines as well. And you wind up having planes like the Kfir C7 that offer very unique experiences you cannot find anywhere else. And as I mentioned a second ago, if you know how to fly Kafir C7, no one will know how to fight you. Like, no one knows how to fight a competent Kafir C7 player. You don't see them that often. And it's not because the plane is bad, it's because no one plays the damn tech tree. Now, you might have noticed that people are shooting lots of missiles at me and they're just not hitting. And even though they're like, you know, 2-3 kilometers behind me, they're just like firing infrared missiles and they're just all missing even when I am out of flares. I understand that can be confusing to a lot of people who don't see what's going on, so what I'm doing is I'm just outrunning the missiles. The Kafir C7 is a lot faster than most other planes at this battle rating. So people can sit behind you and shoot missiles at you and they just won't be able to catch you. Like, yes, the missiles are faster than the plane, but the plane is fast enough that if you have a 2 or 3 kilometer head start, it's extremely difficult for the missiles to actually catch you. And it's hard for people to get behind you and within range if you're so much faster than them. So it's very hard to hit you with the infrared missile from the rear aspect because they just can't get in a good position to fire it. And it's very hard to hit you with an infrared missile in the front aspect because you do have some flares and that's effective, but also the Kfir C7 is like really nimble and you can definitely outmaneuver infrared missiles in the front aspect if you run out of flares. Like, it's a delta wing so it doesn't hold its energy, but if you just need to like quickly make a sharp turn, like, it can definitely do that. This is a really slippery plane if you know what you're doing. If a Kafir C7 is in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, it is extraordinarily difficult to kill. There are two main ways people get killed while they're flying this thing. The first is they try to dogfight with it, which is stupid because you lose all of your energy because the delta wing doesn't hold its energy. And like, the selling point of this thing is the speed. You don't dogfight people, you energy fight them. You fly circles around them with your ridiculously fast speed and your ridiculously high climb rate. So the way you don't get killed by dogfighting is you just don't do that. You just know not to do that. It's a stupid thing to do in this type of plane. Anyways, the second really good way to kill a Kafir C7 is to shoot it in the face with a radar missile. So the way you deal with that is you just memorize which planes have radar missiles and don't fly straight at them. At this battle rating, the planes that have like decent radar missiles, most of them are some variant of the F4 Phantom, so it's just anything called an F4. Like, if you're going to fly at an F4, you either make sure that they're so close they can't get a good radar missile shot at you, they're so far away they can't get a good radar missile shot at you, they're distracted fighting someone else, or you come in so high that it's inconvenient for them to shoot a missile at you, or you come in so low that you just kind of multipath the missile. Remember, you never have to fly towards an F4 Phantom when you're in Kafir C7 because you're faster than the F4 Phantom. You get to pick if you have a fight, you can turn it down. So obviously you should just never pick a fair fight. So like, here's an unfair fight, this A40, I'm gonna shoot him from, you know, his like 2-3 o'clock high. Oh wow, look, a guy in a squadron plane doesn't know how to look for missiles. This F3D here, this guy's been snowballed back to a plane that doesn't have flares, so he just dies. And these next two guys here, they've also been snowballed back to planes that don't have flares. Actually, all of the enemy teams, like really good planes, are all stuck in like a giant stupid furball over there. They're nowhere near me. I can just like pick off the stragglers one by one with Python 3s. That F9F actually did manage to dodge my Python 3s, I'm not sure how. I was gonna go in for a gun kill, but someone else blew him up before I got the chance. This was actually a slight up tier for me. The enemy team is just not using their planes very effectively this match. I've mentioned before how I sometimes hop into the game just to screw around, like I'm not trying to wipe out whole teams, and sometimes I do hop into the game to murder entire teams. Murdering everyone takes way more effort and focus, and sometimes I just don't feel like bothering. I was just playing to screw around this match, like I wasn't planning to kill everyone. You know, kind of obviously, right? I tend not to re-review planes unless there's been some funny drama, but every once in a while I just come across a team that isn't playing that well and I can murder them all while playing casually. It's always a surprise when it happens because like 99% of the time I have to put an effort to make these videos. And this pass through the enemy team right here is a really good example of how to be a complete vulture. There are some enemy players who don't have flares, as you can see, and there are some who do. And I could just fly right up to the swarm of enemy players and schwack all the guys who don't have flares, and then I can just run away. The Kafir C7 is too fast for anyone else to catch me. I have an F86 here, he dies. I have an F9F here, he did not manage to dodge the Python 3 this time. This Harrier doesn't have flares. Also, I fired from his like 2 or 3 o'clock, so he probably didn't even see it anyways. Just complete surprise missile death. Thought they could have done anything about it if he saw it coming. And then I blow up this F3H2, and they just fly away from all the other guys. There are a bunch of other planes, and some of them are actually quite good. Like that A10C, for example, has AIM 9Ms. It's just that none of them can catch me, so I could just murder people and run away, and there's nothing they can do about it. And actually, with that pass, I now have the highest documented kill streak ever with this particular plane with the Kfir C7. Yeah, it's a minor world record, and I'm gonna keep running up the score, of course. It's really unusual for me to do something like that without actually trying. The only other time I can remember doing that was with the MiG-21 Bison. That's the British premium. I had a 27 kill streak with that thing against this team that got really brutally snowballed, and they weren't very good either. And there were like a bunch of prop planes I was just mowing down with R-73s. It was just unseemly. I didn't even use that as the video for the MiG-21 Bison. It was bonus footage for the video where I wiped out a bunch of people who actually knew what they were doing. Now, you might think this seems unfair, but as I said, the Kafir C7 is really brutal at snowballing lobbies. If a Kafir C7 senses weakness, you're all gonna die. If you see a competent Kafir C7 player, you really need to stop him early in the match while there's still time, because the amount of damage he could do is insane if you let him snowball your team to the point where you can't stop him. Also, you guys really need to start checking your 2, 3, 10, or 11 o'clock high positions when fighting Israeli jets. Like seriously, every time I fly an Israeli jet with Python 3s, I just ambush the enemy team's best planes by sending missiles through the same weird angles. People just do not check it. And then they'll see some annoying guy on YouTube be like, ha ha ha, I killed their whole team with surprise missile deaths. I gave their whole team surprise missile deaths. And it'll be set to cheesy sitcom music, and like 15 to 30,000 people will see it. Seriously guys, just check your upper left and upper right. It's not that hard. Now, I've been looking at those enemy players over there for a while, and I've been keeping my distance because there's some F4 Phantoms in there. There's 2 of them actually. If I charge right at them, they'll just shoot me in the face with a radar missile. And as I mentioned, that's one of the best ways to kill a Kfir C7. But also, as I explained, the Kfir C7 is fast enough that I get to pick if we have a fight at all. So obviously, I'm not going to pick a fair fight, and I'm definitely not going to pick a fight where they have an advantage. So I decided to wait until they're distracted fighting this Harrier and this A10 over here. Now, this is a problem because I'm actually almost out of gas. So, you see, my plan was to schwack the enemy team's last good planes while they were distracted fighting those AV-8 and A10 meat shields. And then I would just land for gas while they were dead and respawning and coming across the map. But now those meat shields are dead, none of the enemy players are dead, and I don't really have enough gas to fight any of them. Now, I could have saved gas if I conserved my afterburner a little bit, but honestly, I just kind of assumed the drop take would be enough, and I wasn't actually trying to murder this team in the first place. I didn't really have if I was trying, I would have saved gas. So I go through my list of troubleshooting options for holy cow, people are trying to kill me and I don't have a good way to stop them. And the first thing I do is I try to bait that F4 that's chasing me into flying to AAA cover, just have the AAA kills him, but he doesn't take the bait. Now, I have an almost full load of missiles and there's only one guy near me, so I just fire one missile to trick him into turning. And I'm doing that because I don't have enough gas to chase him down, so I need him to turn so I can kill him before I run out of gas. Now, my Kafir C7 does have an advantage in a close range head-on. My Python 3s will outperform his AIM 7s, but I completely scuff up the attack. And now I have no missiles and no gas, and I'm trapped in a dogfight while flying a plane that has terrible energy retention. This is what happens when plan A, B, and C all fail, but thankfully I do have a plan D. I made sure all of this was happening right in front of my own team's spawn, so if my teammates spawned in, they would eventually just swarm him and overwhelm him and kill him for me, and that is what happened. So as soon as I saw that they were swarming him, I was like, oh crap, I need to turn around right this very second if I want to have any hope of gliding back to my airfield for fuel. And I have a very low speed and a very low altitude. This is going to be very, very close. My missiles reload while I'm gliding in, and I immediately jettison them because they provide a lot of drag, and that can definitely make the difference. This is going to be really, really close. I'm really stretching the glide, but my main concern is that I'm going to stall out and just flop to the ground. And I am not able to make it to the runway, but I am just barely able to make it to the airfield, and that's good enough. And there's no enemy players around to blow me up on the runway. They're on the other side of the map. The F4 Phantom was the last guy who was over here that was an enemy player, and he just got swarmed and he died. Directly or indirectly, that poor F4 Phantom player came insanely close by the absolute nearest of margins to ending my kill streak, but just wasn't quite close enough. But you know, now my plane is fully refueled and repaired, and I'm gonna take off with a full tank of gas. My plane is good as new. If they want to try to kill me, they're gonna have to run me out of gas again, and there's not enough time in the match to do that. So I guess I'll just have to murder that entire team, get away with it, and put it on YouTube. That's really unfortunate for them. Even more unfortunate though, one of my own teammates took out the last ground target and that collapsed the enemy team's tickets, which means I wasn't able to get back in the fight and score a few more kills. And somehow I only got 3rd place on my own team. So, yo, whatever, at least they let me on the podium. Anyways, don't forget to like and comment to feed the algorithm. And remember, if you subscribe and ring the bell, you won't need to remember how to spell AOLIPay next time you want to watch one of my videos.